You ready? That time of day is that day of the week.
Sure
The
enough.
most dreaded day of the week, except it's actually the best day of the week. Because it's the furthest day from the next day of the week, which is the worst day of the week, next Monday. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
Good morning, I'm Lee Barrows.
You're not going to make any sense of
somewhere
anything.
in all of that, I understood what you were saying, and that's what's scary.
Then you need to go check in somewhere because somebody out there is waiting to assist you.
Scary.
You're Lee.
Yes, I am.
You've already said that, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
And I already told you who I was.
Yes, you did.
Who am I?
You're Rayford.
Good, thank goodness.
Yep, you're ready to rock.
Kind of ugly at the beginning of the weekend, way back last Friday, remaining pretty cool through yesterday afternoon. Then the sky was clear and it reached 70 degrees here.
Yes.
Late in the afternoon. And this morning it's down to upper 40s, around 50 in some of the areas in our listing area. It's going to be kind of a nice day or two here. We do have smoke in the air.
Yes, we do.
I think it's leftover smoke.
I think so.
I think it's the stuff that went up and is now coming back down.
It was, I told you, I got the first couple miles into my trip this morning, and I'm like thinking, what is that odor?
Well, I opened the door this morning back here, and you came in and said, it smells smoky out there. And then I took a deep whiff, and
yes,
yep, you're right.
Yes,
it
yes.
is. It stinks.
And coming from the Bell Fork area over towards this area, you could see the haze.
Oh, really? That yellow stuff?
Yeah,
Ugh.
It was hazy.
It's not pollen. I think that's most of that's been washed away for the day or two.
Sure, I hope so.
Some more are still producing out there, I'm sure, no doubt about it. Okay, it is a stranger at the door.
Coming in with a tray.
Stuff. And
I don't know, but it smells good.
I don't know what it is.
Oh my gosh. It looks like some kind of gum. Oh, shrimp and grits. Oh, man.
Oh, thank you.
Here's
And thank you.
Here's your napkin. Don't make a mess.
Yeah, right. Okay. You got up early to do this, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything to start off with about it being your birthday because I know how you are.
No, it's not my birthday.
Well, you know who made it.
It's the anniversary of my birthday.
Your favorite daughter.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, the second favorite will be in later, I guess.
Yeah, Marty, he's the one that told. It wasn't me. I was just going to kind of say something.
It's not my birthday.
It's the anniversary of your birth.
You only have one of them.
Yes.
So, anyway, no, you can't have any of this, Shocky. He's looking. Did he eat his food yet?
Yes, he did.
You still
Kelly
can't
and
have
I'll
any
have
of
to
it.
share this one. If she likes shrimp and grits.
No, I don't think she can do shrimp. Doesn't
It
here,
looks so good.
Shocky, come get your biscuit.
It smells so good.
Chuck.
That's really nice for your daughter to get up so early in the morning and
Yeah, she probably started yesterday, knowing her.
her and Marty to make something like that for you for your birthday.
Anyway, it should be a pretty one, day or so. So we'll keep our eye on it. And I have not heard of any fire calls, so the smoke has got to be left over from last week.
I think it is.
Sometimes when you get a high pressure thing or whatever happens up overhead and it drops whatever's overhead that's stuck up there, drop it back down.
A low ceiling.
That too.
Yes.
So, overnight Saturday, about 2 o'clock in the morning Sunday, actually a hit and run wreck.
I saw that.
Left one person dead. Police looking for the driver of the hit and run car. 57-year-old Ronald Pearson was killed while walking on the service road in front of the Havelock Mall. 2 o'clock in the morning. Not a good time to be out there.
No, it's not.
Somebody out there bound to be suspicious of a relative or a friend, maybe your neighbor, who was acting a bit unusual yesterday. maybe they can't find his car, or you don't see his car hanging out that you normally see.
Right.
Maybe he was standoffish, didn't want to talk to people. If you're suspicious, if you got reason to be, call the Havelock Police Department. They're looking for information. They need some help locating this driver. So, whatever.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about the one I just read about on social media this morning of
I
a
don't
gentleman
do those.
that was sitting in front of the Kettle restaurant,
Mhm.
and a lady hit him in the back end, then took off.
Oh,
So I thought, but when
was
you
sitting where he was stopped
he was stopped
in a car.
yes,
Okay,
in
gotcha.
his truck. But when you said fatality, I knew it was not the
No.
same story.
Another plane crash this weekend, along with that helicopter Friday.
Yes.
Was it Friday the chopper went down?
Yes. Was it Friday?
I don't know. Did we
Or
talk
was it
about it on the
Saturday?
show?
No, I think it was either Friday afternoon or Saturday. I don't remember now.
It was about 3:00 in the afternoon, and
I
it was sometime after 3. So I don't know what day it was. It
Let
wasn't
me
Saturday,
look.
I don't believe. Anyway, up in New York, the Hudson River, the helicopter crashed. A family of 5 from Spain visiting here, doing one of those tours. It's a Bell, forgot which the number was. Anyway, it was a Bell helicopter. They're good choppers. They're good helicopters. Had about 10,000 hours of flying time on it. And it was up to date. So tour company had it. And the pilot,
Thursday.
was it Thursday? Okay.
was
I thought we
Thursday.
talked about it Friday. So it was Thursday afternoon.
There's been so many I can't keep up.
And so they're still investigating. Some of the preliminary analysis has the transmission. There's what they call a transmission that connects the motor to the rotor via shaft.
Right.
And something they think broke on that from the analysis, and it's separated. Don't know what was going on. There's some speculation that the rotor actually tilted over at one point in time, which hit the tail area, which
Right.
severed. It caused it to come off. So
Right.
that
Oof.
plane was doomed.
Yeah, I think they're still looking for those big chunks right there. I think they're looking for the top of the cabin and then for like the
Yeah.
rotor blades or
they
something
found
like that.
they found a
yes.
bunch of the stuff, but it's an awful tragedy. Awful
National
tragedy.
Transportation Board has shut that company down completely
procedure.
until further notice.
It's kind of like, and I would imagine that everybody with those helicopters, that same brand, Bell or whatever the number is,
right.
they're probably taking a serious look at them, having them checked out. And one of the aviation experts who posts stuff online, I don't think he's self-proclaimed because he had too many degrees, too many of those funny, cute letters behind his name.
Yes.
So there's some speculation that it could have been they want to see the maintenance report from the last maintenance. When you got anything, your car's transmission, when it's turning, there's always a possibility of metal shavings, metal shavings, right? And that's one of the things they check periodically in your transmission whenever you take it in, if you request them to check and change the transmission oil. Normally, that's not done anymore these days. I mean, I used to have it done on a van that I had because it was notorious for that. It's an older model. And I would have them changed and the filter on it. And when they would take it off, they'd show me where there were some metal filings there. And I said, how dangerous is that? Nothing, because you're changing the transmission fluid and they're not getting in there and doing anything else, up and causing the transmission to have a problem. But they apparently in helicopters, and I was talking with my brother-in-law yesterday, there are devices, electronic sensors inside the military helicopters, and this guy was talking about them as well inside the transmission, that will show up if there are metal filings should suddenly pop and go through. It will show up as a warning.
Ooh.
A second warning means put that helicopter down on the ground real fast, or it's going to come down possibly. So that's one of the things they have. One warning can get you back to the base as quickly as you can. Second warning, find a clear spot on the ground. So, and actually, there's one device in there and some of the helicopter transmissions that will, once it detects it, will actually put out a big spark of electricity and burn up those little metal shavings. They will disintegrate completely. So that's an interesting thing that does happen. So NTSB is obviously going to transmission fluid and also the maintenance report to see what was in there the last time they did a checkup.
Well, interesting enough, I know we've been seeing a lot of this year, and NTSB put out a chart, a diagram showing that actually the number of plane crashes, the number of fatalities, the number of people injured is under right now what we had 2024. The thing is, we're just hearing about a lot of things.
Yeah, we're only 3.5 months into 2025.
That's right. But
so everything could pick up later on.
Well, they were comparing month to month, like, and then from January 1st through April and in the total numbers. So it's not like all of a sudden planes are falling out of the skies. Right. So
there's no terrorist plot.
Right.
To do this.
Right.
Had another plane crash, though, this weekend.
Yes, we did. 6 people perished.
A twin-engine aircraft crashed into a muddy field up in upstate New York. That's where the helicopter was in New York. But up further upstate of New York, about noon Saturday, the plane went down 30 miles from its destination. It was headed for the Columbia County Airport in upper New York. I don't know where Columbia County is up there, so.
I think it's near Albany.
I don't know. It's
whoa! I thought I muted.
Anyway, it went down. All 6 people on board are dead. Very little information at this time, and they said it was really tough to get through the mud, the bog, or whatever it was to get to the plane.
Yeah, because it had snowed and it was real muddy.
Yeah. So, and the NTSB, of course, is handling that crash as well. So it's it's kind of a.
Yeah, they had video of that where it just came straight down and embedded into the ground.
And here's one. Kelly, if you're listening, nearly 300 Delta Airlines passengers.
I saw that.
2 different planes, 2 flights, okay? Weather was bad. They were coming out of Mexico. They left for Atlanta last Thursday, going from Mexico to Atlanta. Weather forced both of them down. They found an airport, a regional airport. Figured they just wait out the storm and take off. Well, no. They landed about 9 o'clock or so. Kind of like forced down. They chose the better option.
Right.
And they landed in Montgomery. Whoops. The flight from Cabo San Lucas and another one from Mexico City landed at Montgomery Regional Airport in Alabama as a diversion point about 9:30 p.m. I've been to that airport. It's dead as a doornail. There's nothing happening there. They call it a regional airport, but must not be a whole lot of people flying in that region.
I think it was like 300 people stranded.
And the 2 of them, overnight on their planes. 9:30 until 5:30 the next morning.
They won't let you get off and walk?
No, they cannot. Why? You cannot set foot on U.S. soil
unless
customs is there to greet you. This is not an international airport there at Montgomery. They had to locate somebody. They had to locate customs folks and bring them in, enough of them to be able to handle 300 passengers. So at 5:30 in the morning, or they sat until 5:30 in the morning when the CBP people arrived. The travelers were then allowed to enter the airport before finally departing for Atlanta about noon.
That is crazy.
Okay. You're sitting on an airplane. There are 2 heads in the back and I guess 2 heads up forward. Big planes. For 150 people on each plane, approximately. Over 8 hours. And they're going to be fed and they're going to eat. I mean, they're going to drink some stuff, right?
Oh, yes. I expect a free drink out of it. They did on the flight that we had to sit on the tarmac forever.
they sat on their planes from 9:30 at night. Now they'd already made the
Yeah.
flight from Mexico and Cabo San Lucas. Those two flights had already made that distance. Then they had to sit there in the planes.
I would definitely not like that. But this is the time of the year
8 hours.
where we have a lot of storms.
Eight more hours.
I don't understand why 8 hours, but
Well, that's before customs could get there, so they could get off the plane and reconnoiter, maybe eat some breakfast and good stuff like that.
well,
This was a 3-hour tour that took forever. The airline, they're going to refund each customer's ticket,
good.
calling it a result of the inconvenience. It's nice of Delta. It's really, really above and beyond the call for Delta. It's not their responsibility. This was involving a God-produced weather event that forced them down.
Right.
And the rest of it is federal requirements. They couldn't just ignore those. Nope. I would have thought that they could have corralled them, a wing or something at the airport. The airport ain't that big, y'all. I've been there, in and out.
Well,
Uh-huh.
but it happens.
They couldn't bus them that way because they can't leave.
Right.
They cannot enter the U.S. soil. They cannot go beyond protection. But I would have called the whole county's sheriff's office maybe at that time of night. Could we all just get some special stuff and put them inside a room, or not a room, but one. There's nothing else happening at Montgomery Regional Airport. I'm going to tell you.
I think of
now.
all the times I've flown, there was very few times that it actually went smoothly on time. Usually it was coming back to North Carolina that things were either delayed
Thank you.
or they were, it's Chris calling, they were delayed or canceled or whatever because of weather. Yeah, springtime weather coming across the states.
Uh-huh. It's ugly stuff. Oh, okay. We got
Chris Marks
on the line. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Rayford.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome. I see you're getting many
Stuff.
good dishes to eat.
Yeah, I got food.
You got food.
I got food.
Yeah. I bring a cake over for you.
No.
Candles on it, but might look like a prairie fire.
Yeah, it would be. Don't do that.
a prairie
kidding.
fire.
Yeah, the alarm's going to go off in here, no doubt about it.
Little Monday humor. So I want to let everybody know that got back from a short retreat to talk about Reach Across America to other parts of the world, and Honduras and Mexico and some other places down that way.
You went down there?
Yes.
Why?
To see if I could get any donations for Reach Across
that's
America,
nice.
which I actually did.
Hey, excellent. Thank you.
We're up to 779 for Reach on our fallen veterans.
Hey.
Nice.
But, because you folks are such a special group of our group, I wanted to let Onslow County know about the latest adventure of our group, and that is we have another location besides the Veterans Cemetery.
I'm hearing. That's good. I like it.
Memorial Park.
I like it
and
for special
there's
reasons,
15
personal reasons, but I like it.
Well, there's a section that is cordoned off called the Veterans section. There's also a total of about 1,500 veterans buried at Onslow Memorial Park.
I know of one.
And we have now taken them under our wings and become location coordinator there. And we are going to have a ceremony there. And we'll keep reminding as long as you folks let us.
Always.
On the same day, National Wreath Laying Day at 9 a.m., we're going to have a full ceremony, including color guard. And we have a bugler who's going to do taps live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a great ceremony, but we've already had 28 wreaths donated to that location. Okay. And so our veterans one, Coastal State Veterans Cemetery, we're up to 779.
Sure. Cool. That's great. I'm going to want to get one for there, another one.
Yeah, I
for-
can think of a few
for-
people
for a
over there.
special
Yes,
location.
definitely.
It was really interesting. I was visiting my mom's gravesite there,
Mm-hmm.
and I just got to mention. And by the way, do y'all have any veterans here? And a few years ago, Lee, I think you might remember this, where there was some leftovers at the Veteran Cemetery.
Yes, we took them over to the Jacksonville Cemetery and to Onslow Cemetery. And then there's a small cemetery off of 17 South
Mm-hmm.
also that we took recently.
Yeah.
Well, so we decided to have some conversations with them, and they were more than willing to want to have a ceremony, have a celebration, and
Oh, good.
so those that visit honoring our fallen veterans, they'll have two options. Lee, if you don't mind, I'll send you the breakdown in the two,
Okay.
if you don't mind. But I also like to talk about something else that was interesting on the trip.
Okay.
I received phone calls from people wanting Crime Stopper lunch.
Yay! I'm gonna eat another one. So whenever you get by.
I will happily do that. It'll be my anniversary present. To
No,
you.
no, 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 no. I'm buying. This is
I
for good
used-
cause.
I used my first one Saturday, Chris. I just went up to the drive-thru, said, I have a ticket. This is what I want. Went to the window. They handed it to me. And I
And you were
sailed
gone.
away.
Yay!
It was so good, too.
Well, I'll be out delivering tickets today to those that reach me overseas, or whatever it's called when you're
International.
International. Thank you, Ray, for the international truth. But for those that still want tickets, there's 2 weeks left in it.
Yes, I know.
Your choice of barbecue or chicken, your choice of your two sides, no taxes.
Yep.
And it is good food.
I used one. I think the first day or the second day, whichever it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was good. I was one right out of the gate, so I'm good to go.
Yes,
And I got another
yes.
one left, so I need one more.
Well, I got the
Okay.
fried chicken this time. Next time it'll be the barbecue.
I got the dead pig the first time. It might be Yardbird next time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So long as it doesn't start clucking.
It won't.
Click, click, click.
I have a knife.
Do want to remind everybody they're good at both locations,
Yes.
and if you need any, I'll be out and about today.
Okay, that's a Smithfield's, and it's at one on Yop Road and the one on Gum Branch Road. They're both in Jacksonville. This is not good for the ones in other parts of the state.
No, I wish we would, but they could. But let's keep it local,
Yep,
live and
bring it
local, and do want to mention that the Onslow County schools have been very generous in
nice.
some of the schools teachers ordering them. So I want to thank them and thank those individuals who call and say, "Can you bring me one ticket?"
Okay.
If that's what you want.
You can bring
got
two
it.
if you want. They might just want an extra one too, so.
Nice.
The
We'll
$10,
do our-
$10 bill ready. You'll be good to go.
Well, anyway, just wanted to thank you folks again for everything you do for Reach Across America and for Crime Stoppers. We celebrated our 25th anniversary last week there at the
Yeah.
City Public Safety Building.
Yep.
And Chief Unero, or former Chief Unero, retired now, he was there, and we celebrated 25 years of our citizens helping us.
Yep.
And helping themselves get rid of crime in Onslow
Yeah,
County. So
let's dump the bums.
there you go, dump the bums. So, folks, thanks so much for your help again. We love you all, and thanks so
Thank
much
you, Chris.
for all you
Thanks,
do for
Chris.
Appreciate
Onslow
what
County.
you and Kathy are doing. Both of you are always up front and ready to rock and roll.
That's right.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right,
Well, you folks have a
All
good
right.
day.
you take care.
Thanks.
And Kelly is joining us now with a gift. I got a pie. I got food and dessert.
You got a key lime pie.
Oh, can't
and
do
you
better.
got something in your card too. So happy birthday
It's-
anniversary.
I didn't see any holes in the card, so it's not anything that's living, right?
It's nothing living,
Okay,
I
good.
promise
I
you.
just wanted to be,
Yeah.
sometimes these creepy crawler things, you need to.
I would never do that to you. So
You
you're good.
can't stand the noise, can you?
You're good. Yep.
Charlie calling us.
Who we got?
Appears to be Charlie. Good morning.
Charlie? Where have you been?
So hey, Rickford, how old are you?
79. No, 70.
You're not 79.
70 something.
77, isn't it?
I guess that's a good one.
reaching this age, does it hit you? Do you say to yourself, wow,
No.
I'm old? Or do you say to yourself, it's just another day?
Well, it's another day for me, but it's just like it is with pretty much everything that I have done for the last 77 years. I've cheated death one more day.
Do you think about your mortality? Do you ever say to yourself, life is coming to an end, or I'm just beginning?
Well, let's just put it this way. The day I was born, I began to die. As the same thing that happened the day you were born, you began to die.
God, that's depressing.
Okay. I mean,
It's a process, y'all.
philosophical.
It is a process. I mean, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Y'all just ain't been around as much as I've been around. That's
I'm
what
with you,
it is.
Charlie. Like, oh, that's depressing.
I mean, you think about it, you're here, you're doing your thing, you're living your life, you go through your stresses, you go through your struggles, you have your happiness, and then one day you wake up and it's just all gone. You're done.
If I wake up, it's not all gone. If I don't wake up, it's all gone. Then we move on to the next life, whatever the next adventure is.
How do you stop from giving up?
I don't give up. Why should I give up?
Never give up. You have to have that glass half full.
Well, I mean, I start a trip from here to California if I'm going to drive, because I certainly ain't going to fly for a while until they get this stuff straightened out. If I start driving from here to California to go see Charlie or something, then, I'm going to start the beginning of that journey. And, if everything works out, I will finish that journey. But that's not the end of stuff. I got to drive back.
That's not a. You don't want to have a journey to meet Charlie. That should never enter your brain. And you know what? I saw. Hey, I'm going to ask the two nice ladies. Do you guys have any bizarre adventures in life that you want to pursue? Like, do you want to get a motorcycle and drive across the country? Do you want to take up archery? Is there some wild thing that you guys want to participate in?
Well, Kelly's already driven the motorcycle.
I've done archery.
I've done archery. You
It's-
don't want me doing that again.
No, you shut yourself with a bow.
No, I never have done that. I almost shot
It
somebody.
was
but
too
hey,
rough on my shoulder.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy archery.
Oh, I did.
I had the bow and arrow.
That's a lot of work.
I had all the targets.
But you know
Went to
what? I
competitions.
threw archery out there. I didn't think you guys would say anything about archery. The fact that you guys participated in archery cracks me up.
And-
I just threw some random
Yeah.
activity out there.
Well, I did. I
I
actually
did it.
did. I still have my bow and arrows.
You-
Well, I
I'm
don't.
telling
I
you,
wish I had mine.
You
but-
don't want me doing that ever again. I'm gonna hear it.
Or somebody doesn't want you to.
If I had to hunt for food, I'd be in trouble. Let's just say
I think
that.
the one thing that
Yeah.
I would still love to do.
I shot an arrow into the sky and
Oh, it
12
just-
ducks got killed
Yeah, no,
and one airplane.
it was not Kelly. Yeah, so. But to answer
Hey,
your question,
you know
Charlie, I would like to get an RV and travel across country. Cool sites. I don't think I'll ever do it because I looked into it. It's kind of pricey.
Well,
but
you could go get you an old worn out Volkswagen Bug, not Bug, the buses from yesterday.
Well, hold on, wait a minute.
My daughter has an
Well, you
RV
think-
for sale,
well,
Kelly.
You want to get an RV, just go from have no destination, and just travel and just stop somewhere and just stop somewhere else and do that?
yeah, I'd like to take a month or a month and a half off work and do that. It would
That's
not be
cool.
feasible, but
I like
I would
that.
love to do that. I'd like to go see things, more out towards, start here. And I've driven cross country. That's how I know there's places I'd like to stop. Maybe the Grand Canyon and go up to Yellowstone and then Montana. I'd like to see a little. I've been to Idaho once, and a little more of that. Stuff like that, kind of obscure, not weird things, but just cool places. But I don't know that I'll ever do it. It's just pricey. Guys,
It is very expensive.
Let me ask you guys a question. If you had to choose between going on taking an RV across the United States, maybe 12, 16 weeks, would you like to do it on your own, where you could explore and just see things on your own, wake up when you want to wake up?
Most
Or would you like to
definitely.
do it with someone with you?
That's a good question.
I've done it with family where we've traveled a lot in the RV, slept in the RV. pulled into a Walmart parking lot, spent the night, gone to NASCAR races, done stuff like that. In fact, they have one for sale right now.
I think I would like to go, like maybe, myself and a couple of friends, but with a pre-planned itinerary. Like, here are the places we want to see. Where we stop in between getting there is cool, but I would have a list of places I knew I wanted to go to.
You ever heard of Charles Kuralt?
Yeah.
Yes.
He used to do TV stuff, and he did a bunch of things. Charlie, you remember Kuralt, right? He had something. He had something on his show at the end of it because he did special event. He would go to the locations and talk with special people, really unusual, whatever, quaint stuff. At the end of it, he says, "You know what? We've heard about a story up the road a bit, but we're going to head on and go around the bend. But you know what? The chances are we won't get to that story before we stop and find another one. So whatever the destination is, or destination points, stopping points for you, if you pass something
I would stop
before you get there and you say, oh God, I wish I had stopped there, then you've screwed up.
Yeah, no, I would stop. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't have like on this date I got to be at the Grand Canyon because but I mean Grand Canyon would be on my list.
It'll still be there.
But I would probably, knowing me, I would definitely stop at some places before I ever got there.
Yeah, that's how I got introduced to Buc-ee's.
Oh,
Traveling
Lord.
in the RV.
That's how I
And Wawa.
Buc-ee's.
Okay,
Buc-ee's.
Charlie, Buc-ee's is this big giant. There's one in South Carolina.
It's like a truck stop. It's a truck
Yes,
stop,
yes,
right?
it's
yes.
like a truck
And it's
stop,
like
yes.
a giant mall inside. It's like you got to
I
fight
love
for your life to
Buc-ee's.
park. And
I love Buc-ee's.
Well, we
No,
were.
if I had to do it, I've gone like on road trips with friends. You know what? I want to go my next road trip. I want to go by myself.
yeah,
I
because you can
just
do what you
wanna explore.
want.
I don't want to think, okay, when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you got 3 people with you. We got to make sure that everybody's taken care of. They got to make sure that they're accommodated.
Nope.
Yeah, no,
Just
I agree with that.
I got to go. Hey, I'm going to say something. I haven't called into your show in a while. Charlie's dealing with some things. Kelly's been kind. We've had 1 or 2 back and forth conversations. It's irrelevant what it's about. Charlie, listen, every human being, we all have our own struggles. Kelly's a good person. I'll leave it at that. Maybe I'll touch base with her. I just want to call and say hi to you guys.
I appreciate it.
We're glad you did.
We're thinking about you.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
You guys have a good day.
Bye,
All right,
Charlie.
you too, Charlie. It was nice to hear from
It was
Charlie.
good. I was thinking about him the
very
other
nice
day.
to
and
know
trying
he's
to think,
doing better.
okay, I wonder what's going on. Well, he said he was going to do this and this and this, so I won't say nothing. Ladies, he's got his own stuff he's dealing with, so that's
we
cool.
all do,
Good for
yeah.
him.
Are both of y'all sitting here with your uneaten food bowls?
I cannot eat while I'm on the air. You understand that. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be choked up. There's a microwave up there.
Okay, just I'm just curious why
Well,
y'all.
Kelly, that's an extra one. Now we can.
I don't eat it.
I know you
Does
don't.
Robbie like shrimp and grits? She should be enjoying that with you.
She will
Okay, good.
at 9:00.
I will.
Okay,
That's
I was just curious.
I cannot eat on the air.
That makes sense.
And I cannot eat before I get on the air.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
like
yeah, I
to
agree
eat
with
on
that.
the air either.
Otherwise, it's I would get sluggish and I get.
You go to sleep on us. You're like Rayford, wake up.
Marine
wake up."
forecast calling for some sloppy seas for the first half of the week. Small craft
Sloppy.
advisories in effect beginning this afternoon through Wednesday morning. Today offshore out to 20 nautical miles. Winds are going to be out of the southwest, 15 to 20 knots. Don't. Increasing to 20 to 25. Definitely don't this afternoon. Gusts up to 30. Seas 2 to 4 feet. Going to get bigger, 4 to 6 in the afternoon, and they're going to only be 4 seconds apart. 4 to 6 foot waves, 4 seconds apart is a no-no. Sounds and rivers choppy, becoming rough in the afternoon today. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 20 to 25 knots, gust to 30, seas bigger, 5 to 7, sounds and rivers rough. Wednesday, northwesterly winds 15 to 20, gust up to 25, diminishing to 10 to 15 in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet, 2 to 3 near shore, sounds and rivers choppy, diminishing to a moderate chop in the afternoon. Here's Kitty.
Today will be sunny, a high of 84 with gusty winds. Wow, 25 mile an hour gusts today. Yikes. Tonight, clear, low of 64 and still overnight gusts, 17 miles an hour. Then on tomorrow, increasing clouds, but 81, still 25 mile an hour gusts. Tomorrow night, mostly cloudy. Let me back up. Starting off cloudy, but then it becomes clear with a low of 47. We've still got gusts. And then on Wednesday, sunny, a high of 69. That's like our, quote, chilliest day of the week, with 7 to 11 mile an hour actual winds and then 17 mile an hour gusts. I lost a bird feeder.
You what?
The wind apparently blew one of my bird feeders away.
That was
Maybe
a
it
buzzard
was a
that picked it
squirrel.
up.
It could
Maybe
be.
squirrel stole it.
I don't
Low flying ospreys
like-
picked it up.
I had 3
Sucked
in
it
the
up.
same location. 2 were there yesterday, but 1 is gone.
I've been having a problem with those great big old
Neighbors.
vultures out hanging around. I have to keep an eye on my little dog when he goes out.
Yeah, they'll
they
snatch
don't.
your dog
They
up.
don't. No, vultures don't attack
Okay, then she
a
means
lot of people. You got hawks.
yeah, she means hogs.
They're vultures.
Oh, they're
No,
vultures.
they're not.
You're not getting what I'm saying.
She's calling them a vulture, but they're really a hawk.
Are they buzzards?
No,
they're birds. They're the big mean birds that like to steal little animals.
that's a hawk.
That's a hawk.
Yes.
I know it's a hawk, but
but
it's
she's
a
calling them
vulture.
a vulture.
I got you.
She's calling them a bad word.
Well, speaking of that,
That's right.
let's go down to Florida again. Punta Gorda, that charter captain last week that jumped
Oh,
onto a young man's
yes,
boat, obviously
yes.
threatening him for something that the fisherman actually did not do. Remember him?
Yeah,
He's local.
Yeah.
The video circled the globe.
Mhm.
18 million people as of yesterday had watched it.
Mhm.
I think half of them apparently called the Punta Gorda Police Department, at
did.
least according to the police captain there.
Mhm.
The charter captain is out of a job and maybe out of luck. His big claim to fame, you may recall, is that he's disabled from being hurt while in combat in Afghanistan in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
He also said he was an Army Ranger, though there are some folks out there who say, nah, not sure about that. They're trying to verify that he was ever a Ranger. The Punta Gorda police down in Florida continue to get calls wanting to know what they're doing. Well, they've done it. Quit calling. That's one thing. They've arrested the guy. He was jailed under bonds totaling $20,000. He's out, and he's apparently in hiding. We talked last week that the 3 people on his boat, they were his charter clients. I think it was 4 actually aboard the boat, right?
I believe so.
4 plus him. They were not boat captains, okay? We initially thought there was some indication they may have been also licensed boat captains, but they did work for a fire rescue unit. They'd chartered his boat. Now I've got a
Right.
problem. These guys, if there were 4 of them, stood by while this idiot, if you haven't seen the video, pull it down. This idiot literally attacked this young boater,
He did.
offering no assistance. 4 people, they could have jumped into action. Yes, he's the captain of the boat, but there is a time for mutiny.
Yes.
There is a time for legitimate mutiny.
They should have beat his butt right there or grabbed him, pulled him down,
Should
done
have
something.
secured him
Yeah,
and
but they
taken
didn't.
him ashore.
No, I agree.
Yes, the Coast Guard is investigating the whole thing too. Don't bother about calling them. They got it,
Mhm.
Jack. They've got it. The Coast Guard issued mariner's license for charter captains is at stake in his case. Some said it was unfair to judge this man for a split-second outburst, especially considering that he's a veteran and is medically retired, and he claims with a traumatic brain injury.
That doesn't mean anything. Let me
One
say that.
thing that comes to my mind, and not
Mhm.
just to me, somebody else has pointed it out, including a guy who is medically retired,
Mhm.
who is legitimately medically retired, can't do anything.
Mhm.
How was this guy, if you haven't seen the video, look, how was this guy disabled,
Mhm.
but able to jump around and act a fool, jumping from boat to boat, working 300 days of a year by his own admission on the water, chartering people, taking
Mhm.
people out. How many days a week do you work? 5 times 52 weeks a year. And you don't work 52 weeks, you generally work 50. 5 times 50 is 250 days.
Mhm.
That's the typical work year,
Mhm.
right, in America.
Mhm.
He works, he says, 300 days. I do not doubt that. Charter captains work every day that the fishing and the weather is good. That's the way that works.
Okay.
How could he carry out the chores if he was not physically fit, as he claimed? One medically retired veteran suggesting that the Army should take another look at this man. As for this being a one-time occasion, no, hold the horses here. He's had a lot of run-ins with the police dating back to his pre-college and his college days, well before he was in the Army, well before any kind of a traumatic brain injury, if he has one. I'm assuming that he does. I'm sure he's been diagnosed with it somewhere. But he's had issues and lots of run-ins at age 40 with the popo. This is
we were
not his
talking
first
about
rodeo.
that last week.
The problem I've got is, I don't know how current the most recent DWI that he had was, but I don't know when he got his Coast Guard license. I got a feeling I know when he's going to lose it.
Right.
But there's
We were looking at
There's
some
that.
of his past charges, and they were like 15, 20 years ago. That's what
he
we
had some
saw. A
recent
lot of
ones
that.
too.
Yes, but the ones
Had
that
some
they had
recent ones.
listed were a while back. But I'm like you, I do have an issue, and it's like we were talking this morning before we went on air. The initial stories that came out about him having a TBI,
Mm.
and they said it was service related, but yet they never went into anything to
Specific.
indicate specific. And I thought that was kind of odd because usually, as Jennifer, usually when someone has documentation and has documented that this occurred back
Mhm.
when they were serving in Afghanistan war or something but it was very vague and it just made me
now
wonder.
other folks cannot go out and tell you what situation is with this traumatic brain injury. That's the
understandable,
HIPAA
yes.
crap, right?
Yes,
We got that. However, he can say what he wants to say.
right.
The thing is, if you go out there at some point in time, somebody with authority is going to take another look at this, likely.
Okay,
you
but
know
I've got
it.
clients that get 100% disability
Yep.
that work, they jog.
Yes.
So the jumping from boat to boat
Mhm.
doesn't mean anything to me because I have a whole bunch of clients. I've got one client that got his approved for his disability by the VA before his final retirement.
Before military.
Yes.
There's a difference in military retirement. And let me just give you,
His
for
is
instance,
VA retirement.
let me just give you a for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Firefighter
Mm-hmm.
took a fall in a
Mhm.
training, climbing a tower or whatever,
Yeah.
hurt his back. He went out on permanent back injury, medically retired. Okay.
Correct.
The unfortunate part when they when the workman's comp people
Mm-hmm.
hired private investigator who hired a photographer
Mm-hmm.
to follow the guy, and this guy picks up a double set of tanks. One tank weighed about 35, 40 pounds,
Yeah.
double it for another tank, and put it over his head like the good old Mike Nelson days and bring it on his back and jump overboard with a 15-pound lead weight belt around his waist. They took another look at his workman's comp claim and his injuries, and no, he was not deemed to be continued to be injured.
I agree, but I don't think this guy's getting workman's comp. I mean, I don't know, but just based on what I read, I think he's just getting straight disability.
Military is a different story.
Yeah. Or even if he's getting like Social Security disability.
Mhm.
Well, I told
So-
you I did a lot of cases on workman's comp back in the day,
Yeah.
and it was just an eye opener.
Oh, yeah. I don't think this guy's getting workman's comp. I think
Let's
he's
go
getting
on up
disability.
there to Kingsport,
He was claiming disability.
Tennessee, out west,
Well,
just
good-
way out west.
Good morning.
Hello,
morning.
Jennifer. How you doing, Chris?
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it.
And I have a very different take
Mm-hmm.
on what y'all are, and I'm probably going to get some. I hope not. So I hope that you look at it as it's just my opinion.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of excuse me, what they're saying, the fraud and abuse and all of that of the funds that are being used. I don't really care if you're military, if you're a police officer, if you're a firefighter, if you're a regular civilian. If you're disabled, you're disabled. And if you are 100% disabled and you're getting a good check, you should be. Terry is private citizen. Now, Terry cannot work. But if he were able to work, there's only a limited amount that, say, if he could be a Walmart greeter, there's X amount of hours, X amount of pay that he can still work and get his Social Security disability.
Yeah. Now,
in my opinion, that should be the same straight across the board.
well, here's the thing about military, and to a certain extent, paramilitary, which would be police and also firefighters and all that sort of good stuff. If they have been injured, and it could be a traumatic brain injury to the point that they cannot perform the same duties that they were performing before, for instance, a serviceman, maybe he can go out and maybe he can go fishing all day long. Not a problem. He can handle that. He can handle the stress. This guy couldn't, obviously. But if, just say under normal conditions, he can handle the stress. He can handle the physical work. He's not physically disabled, but he has other issues. So they can declare him totally disabled, military-wise, but that just means basically that he can't do the work that he was doing before and he was heading for perhaps a retirement. That's how they get by with that. So his mission in life was interrupted.
Well, that can be the same with everybody.
It could be, it should be, but it's not.
I mean, if your mission in life is to be a pro golfer and you get paralyzed from the waist down or something like that, I don't know. I just look at it differently.
I know you do.
Anywho, I just feel like there used to be a young fella that lived beside us in Jacksonville. He rented a home, and on like the first day we met him, he was one of these that tells you his life story. Well, he had been in the military for, I don't know, year and a half, but he had hurt his back and he was getting his disability. Well, he got his disability, and that hurt back, he was loading up his boat. He was over there pulling engines out of cars. He was doing all of that stuff with his back that hurt too bad to go to work. Mm-hmm. So he's going to get all of these benefits. He's going to get paid and just do whatever he wants to. That's what I'm talking about.
Sure.
There's a whole lot of fraud. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying it should be looked into and checked upon a whole lot more than what it is, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's just my 2 cents. That's just my rant.
Yeah, I understand. It is a confusing thing, particularly when you deal with folks who enter a service like military service or a profession that is to provide services. And, every little kid in the beginning wanted to be a firefighter, except me. I never thought it was fun to run into a burning house. I just know that's not me. I built fires. I didn't put them out.
Right.
Not bad fires, just built fires, good fires. But if in early days, if I'd been injured in let's just put up in New York. I think in New York, if you ever get shot, regardless of the outcome as a cop, I believe you get retired from that department, New York PD. I've got to double check that one. That's what they were telling me years ago. You get shot in the hand, you get shot because it's a traumatic situation. Getting shot ain't pretty,
Well, being a cop in New York's traumatic.
Well, but if it's your, like you say, a pro golfer, and he's not if he had a desire to do it or whatever, but if he is actually working in that field and he suddenly is paralyzed or, whatever happens to him, yeah, he's lost his ability to earn what his life's mission is upset. But he's not going to be treated the same. I don't know that he's going to get the potential winnings of a pro golfer.
I'm just saying that as in with everything, there are a lot of deserving and a lot of not so deserving.
Yeah.
And I think that it shouldn't be like you say, a straight across the board thing. I think each case should be handled a little bit
probably so
more individually.
Yep.
I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But y'all have a good day.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate it.
Jennifer.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Best to Terry. Here's a good one for you.
Let's do it.
2 bodies found in a freezer last November
That's not good.
in a Michigan apartment
Wow.
have been positively identified as the parents of the man who had lived at that apartment.
Oh my.
The body of 76-year-old Susan Barbara Weirowat and 72-year-old Primor Weirowat, identified using various scientific techniques in the months since the discovery. They put these, the lab had a lot of work to do in this case. The East Lansing Police Department said there is no indication of any other suspects other than the couple's son, 37-year-old Jason Weirowat. Police said he killed himself in July last year near Detroit. But then somebody back in November went into the apartment and found the bodies in the freezer. Strange.
That's weird.
Strange. We live in a crazy world. Want some more proof? A man was arrested after police say he set fire to the Pennsylvania governor's mansion.
I saw that.
Governor
Oh, they
Josh-
finally arrested somebody. I knew he
As
set it on
Governor
fire.
Josh Shapiro and his
You're
family
right.
slept inside early Sunday morning. 38-year-old Cody Balmer is
He
listed as the
firebombed.
arsonist.
Yeah.
Balmer will be charged with attempted murder, terrorism, aggravated arson, and aggravated assault. Pennsylvania State Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens told reporters that Balmer hopped a fence, then set the place on fire.
They don't have like motion detector or
I
something.
did.
No.
What happened was he climbed the fence, and as
Uh-huh.
soon as he did and entered the perimeter, it set off
Okay.
signals. And the highway patrolmen that were there guarding the mansion started running, trying to find him. And in the meantime, he was able to go around the building and break in.
Oh, okay.
So,
I
couple-
wondered about that.
Took place about 2:00 in the morning.
Mhm.
He
Yes.
somehow got around those troopers.
And there's extensive damage. I've seen the photos.
Who
Like he
provided security for the
tore it
governor.
down.
The fire broke out after Shapiro, considered a potential presidential contender for the Democrats in 2028,
Mhm,
and his family celebrated the first night of the Jewish holiday of Passover.
mhm.
They said that first thing they knew, troopers were beating on their door.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
and
did
said,
read that.
Get out, get
Yeah,
out,
get out
get
the
out
house,
now. Let's
yeah.
go. Oh
Yeah.
my. Oh my.
Can you imagine? Because you're disoriented when you kind of wake up anyway.
Now, I
Like
will
that.
tell you something else. You've been to the governor's mansion here in North Carolina?
I have.
That I think is 14th century or something, but it's
I
a
know.
really old place.
I was there in 4th grade. That should tell you something.
Well, I was there
I was like late
probably
70s.
when you were in the 4th grade, but
Yeah.
I was there several times, and it's a whole lot of wax on those floors.
I agree with that.
Let's
statement.
just put it to
Yeah.
you that
Beautiful
way.
floors.
Huh?
But Rachel's
Beautiful.
saying it's a fire hazard. I'd go up
You
quick.
put wax on those floors, and
Yeah.
can you imagine the buildup of wax on floors? Like, have you ever seen floor? I went to the Bradley Creek Elementary School fire, which is a school that my dad went to in the 1930s,
Oh wow.
1920s, late 20s. It had been there forever. And
Mhm.
sometime in the early 80s, mid 80s, it caught fire.
Okay.
It had hardwood floors.
Mhm.
The fire department had a really tough time. The auditorium and the whole place, hardwood floors with layers of wax on them that had soaked in, which was nothing but, like fat lighter.
Yeah.
It burned like that too. They had a hard time putting
Oh,
that sucker
wow.
out. That's where the Arboretum is now in Wilmington, in case you ever go that direction.
Well, I watched the news conference that he did yesterday, late yesterday afternoon, and his speech, so to say, I agreed with everything he had to say, and it just, you could see
Who
the
you talking about?
effect that
He
it
is
had
being
on
Shapiro?
Shapiro.
Okay.
I'm sorry, yes, the governor, and he was talking about. He said, if you're doing this because of politics, it's got to stop. We don't need that in this country. And then he said, if you're doing it because of religion, he said,
That's got to stop too.
that's got to stop. But he said,
If you're doing it for any reason, people, come on, this meanness
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, it's going to be meanness is going to be the initiating factor. Period. Bottom line, that's
much
underlying everywhere.
much respect to him for what he said yesterday
Yeah.
during his press.
If you guys are so bent on, I don't know if he was calling attention to that because he's looked into it. Maybe the guy's a registered Republican. Bloody well that they popped that up to begin with. Somebody did, and
Oh,
find
I'm
out
sure,
whether he
yeah.
is or isn't. I don't care. There are disgruntled people across the board. And I'm going to say they probably have not, because I have not read anywhere that
I
he's a
have not
registered
either.
Republican.
And I think that
Now,
would have
if
been-
he had been a registered Republican, do
Yeah.
you not think that our media would have said, right, hey, the guy's a registered Republican and Shapiro's a Democrat? So I don't know. So we'll just have to find out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I agree. I think that would have been the first thing.
But I
some
don't
of the
know that.
media
I
would
just don't
have-
know. I was just thinking to myself, and
Yeah.
that's all. Just an opinion. I'm thinking to myself. Sometimes that should be scary. To
Well,
one
he's
and
looking
all.
at some heavy charges, you know.
Well, he
and
is.
Mhm.
they were talking last night. There's still a possibility that the federal government, FBI, may charge him with terrorism. So we'll see.
Oh, yeah. We got enough charges. Terrorism. I think that's an overused charge at times.
Well, it depends
The
on
guy's
whether
just a
it was
mean little-
hate crime. Yeah.
I agree with the hate
Well,
crime.
and so what? Every crime is a hate crime. You hurt somebody or try to burn somebody's stuff down, you hate them, don't you? You don't do it because I like you.
True.
I'm going to shoot you
Well,
because
you
I
know what I
kind of like
mean.
you.
Using religion.
I know, but you're mean. You're mean.
Well, I think
Mean is illegal
something
when you commit a crime.
with as much rhetoric that has come out of Democrat activists, as in like
Mm-hmm.
Crawford and Schumer and all them lately, with making very inflammatory statements. I'm not surprised. And the reason why I would not be surprised to learn he was targeted because he's Jewish more than it be because he's a
I'm not
Democrat.
even going to speculate. I have
Yeah.
no clue. May just be because, hey, it's a cool thing to do. Jump the fence and get over there.
Yeah.
Maybe I can make some
Well, he
news.
sounded like
Maybe I
from
can make some news.
what they said yesterday. It sounded like he pretty much had planned on what he was doing because he was able to jump the fence,
Mhm.
get into the house, set off a few incendiary
Homemade
devices,
incendiary
and
devices, yeah.
then be able to get out of the house
Uh-huh.
and escape. They
Wonder how
caught
they
him
knew
down
it
the
was
street.
him. Video probably. Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that.
it sounded like they knew they had
Did he
it
leave a
all.
note? It
Well, the
was
highway
me.
patrol at that point in time was
Yeah.
bent
Sure.
on safeguarding the governor.
Sure.
and
I
getting
agree
him
with
out,
that, yeah.
securing them
Yeah.
first.
Oh, sure.
We'll catch him sooner or later. That's not going to be your primary deal.
Did
Yeah.
it say where they caught him at?
I didn't ask.
It was down the road. I
Okay.
just know that they said they caught him. He had already left the property and was in
Mhm.
his vehicle, I believe.
Okay,
and they said they
gotcha.
were
I
able
was
to
just-
chase him down. But
Okay.
it didn't take long because they pretty much knew.
And it
Mhm.
probably,
Within
I'm going to guess it was
short amount
probably
of
the
time.
police department probably laid habeas grabs on him first.
Mhm.
Right.
Hmm.
But during the news presser, they had the Highway Patrol, Pennsylvania. They had the FBI. They had the local police department. So they were right on it within minutes of
Mhm.
it happening.
This is a date that has lived in infamy.
Because it's your birthday. Yes.
Nope.
Okay. What else?
Abraham Lincoln was shot on this date
Really?
in
Oh my gosh.
1865.
I did not realize it was April. I don't know what I thought, but
Shot
I
in the
don't know.
head
huh?
while he was attending a theater, a play at
Yeah.
a theater
Ford Theater.
in Washington, D.C. at
Mhm.
Ford Theater. Lincoln was shot at Ford Theater.
Mm-hmm.
2 cars.
I didn't know it was April 14th. Wait, wasn't this at Titanic? Or was
think
that the 12th? Was today?
I
Was it the
think
14th?
it was also the 14th.
Let's look.
I gotta look.
You go ahead.
Yeah.
John Wilkes Booth, the guy that shot him, not the alleged shooter. He killed him. He didn't die on the 14th. He died, I
Tomorrow.
think, 2 days later. Was it the 15th?
15th.
Yeah, it was the next day. He died
Yeah.
on the 15th, the next morning. He was taken not to a hospital. They taken to a boarding house somewhere down the street.
Why did they not take him to the
I
hospital?
don't know.
Just-
Do they have a hospital? I assume that
I would
they do.
assume.
They did. John Wilkes Booth was an actor, and he managed to get into the box, the box up there where Lincoln was, and he had what they called a derringer, which is about the size of a cannon. I forgot the caliber, big caliber, and he shot him from the back, shot him in the head. And he hollered out something Latin, but it meant ever thus to tyrants. And then he said the South is avenged. He was a Southerner, born and bred, diehard, rebellious individual. And we had ended the war. The war had ended at this
Yes.
time, just like a few days earlier. And Booth remained in the South, in the North during much of the war, if not all of it. He sympathized with the Southerners. He originally was planning to kidnap the president.
Wow.
Yep.
History.
Yeah, he jumped from the booth. He broke his foot or broke his leg or
Well, I
injured
thought
it
it was
somehow.
his leg or something.
He
Yeah.
managed to get on a horse and took off. And instead of kidnapping him, he had planned to do that back in March earlier, a month
Right.
earlier, 3 weeks earlier. That's the day that the president failed to appear at the spot where Booth and his 6 fellow conspirators were waiting for him. They were there, lying in wait.
Mm.
Right after that, the war was still going on then. And then around the 1st of April is when the war was over, 1st or 5th or something like that. That's when the war ended. Richmond fell to the Union forces. Confederate armies were near collapse across the South. Booth hatched a desperate plan to save the Confederacy. That's what his plan was.
And there.
You know what the play was? Anybody got a name of the play that was on?
I don't.
Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm just asking.
Our American cousin was
Really?
playing at Ford Theater.
I wonder what that's about.
I don't know.
Wow.
He planned to execute the Vice President Andrew Johnson at the same time, and Secretary of State William Seward
He's trying to kill everybody. What happened?
By murdering the president and 2 of his possible successors. Booth and his conspirators hoped to throw the U.S. government into a paralyzing disarray. One of the conspirators, his cohorts, Lewis Powell, burst into Secretary of State Seward's home, seriously wounding him and 3 other people. George Azarod, assigned to Vice President Johnson, lost his nerve. He took off. But they did shoot the president, wounded him. He died. And then they shot Secretary of State, wounded him. He lived.
It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy.
Man. Broke his left leg when he jumped from the Lincoln's, the box that the president had.
Well, that's like
Got out of
consistent with the
Washington.
2-story jump, isn't it?
Yeah, I
It's
probably.
pretty high.
It was a cheap lodging house. They describe it. 7:22 the next morning, he died. He was the first president to be assassinated. The Secret Service, there was a Secret Service, but their whole job was to deal with counterfeiting. They were not a protective detail, as I seem to recall from history.
Interesting. Very, very
What if
interesting.
they just went to the quickest place they could find? I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe it was
get him
like
out of
next
there.
door or, yeah.
We'll
They just said,
probably get him out of there and
I
set
mean,
up
I don't
whatever
know.
security they could. I mean, you can imagine that they don't know who did it.
Right.
Oh, well, they do know who did. They don't know where he is.
But I think
How
there
many
would have
others
been a
are involved?
hospital there
I don't know.
because it was a war going on.
Lincoln did have a guard,
Yeah.
but he was not there.
Hmm.
He had gotten bored with the play and left his post to get a beer. He
Oh,
was
my.
with the president. He was just a guard, not
Mhm.
Secret Service.
Huh. Weird.
The friend of the president, a guy named Major Rathbone, it wasn't a rank, it was his first name,
Hmm.
attempted to grab Booth, slashed by Booth's knife.
Oh, he had a
Single-
knife too. He had a
single-
knife and a gun.
Single
was
shot
prepared.
pistol. So whatever. He got caught,
Hmm.
and 26th of April, Candy's birthday,
Hmm.
they caught Booth and this other guy. They gave them the option of surrendering before the barn that he was hiding in.
Did they burn the barn
They
or
set
something?
fire to the barn.
That's what I thought.
One of the guys surrendered. Booth remained in the barn as it went up in flames. He was then shot and killed in the burning barn by a Corporal Boston Corbett.
And I want to say the doctor that treated his injury got like disgraced or like
he was
Something
I think,
happened to him.
arrested.
Yeah.
And that doctor also was the great whatever of a former news guy. I think it was CBS News. I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
remember his name. But anyway, yeah, he
Yeah, I
was.
was
He
saying
was.
the doctor got
just-
in trouble for treating him, but that's
he-
what doctors
he-
did.
He went down to.
Yeah.
He was taken down to prison, and one of those prisons. That little island off the coast of Florida. It's a U.S. territory, but it was a prison island.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where they housed, and they kept him there.
For how
So-
long? Forever? Or?
No, I don't think
Okay.
so. No, but,
Huh. Well, Lee, me, and Lee and I always follow like SpaceX and stuff like
I've
that.
got it right here
Oh.
on my computer.
I
I was
just
just
have to
waiting
see
for a
it.
moment to tell you
she's
about
Go
it.
ahead
been
and
talking
tell
about
it.
that all morning.
Yeah,
before you got here.
I
Nine
talked
something.
about it this morning before we went on
Is it
air.
taken off?
I've had it. No, I've got it right
8:30
here.
or something.
I thought it was taking place at 9 something. This morning.
8:30 is Texas time. So
Okay, so 9:30.
yeah, let
our
me just
time.
see. I think I
Yeah,
looked it up.
9:30.
It's
from-
Blue Origin
Yeah.
is getting ready to send another spacecraft into outer space, and
Well, look who's going to be on it.
yeah, that's
It's
what
like first of all, all women, which I'm.
it's
kinda
an
curious
all-women
about,
crew,
but-
and
hair
the
pulling.
whole thing is
But
going to
it's-
actually take only about 10 minutes. They're going to shoot them up. They're going to orbit around. They're going to come back down.
But who it's going to be?
Yeah, well, I know one name that people will recognize.
Two
is
names.
Katy Perry.
And
Is
Gail
going to
King.
be, and Gail King, who is a CBS News morning show
That's-
anchor.
That's Oprah's best BFF.
Yes.
It's her bestie.
Yes, but I've had it right here on the
Mhm.
computer, waiting for watching to see if it was going to go off.
And then Jeff Bezos' fiance. 'cause
Yes, his
his
fiance. I wonder if she's wearing an actual suit or is she
wearing she
wearing her
actually gonna
usual
wear her
stuff?
clothes
What is
today.
the usual stuff?
Not much enough.
Very revealing
You haven't
stuff.
seen her even.
I don't
Well,
see
was
these.
it Congress, the swearing in, something she
It
had on?
was-
It was super
yes.
inappropriate. Like,
Yes.
people even commented.
It was Trump swearing
That's
in
what it was.
as Drew Collin, and
Yeah.
she came in there, and she was wearing a suit jacket that was very open with nothing but her lingerie under
Yeah.
it. And who was it that was sitting next to her?
Somebody was, and they had.
The singer, was it the singer?
Yeah.
But anyway, he was sitting next to her, and the camera caught him just gazing at her.
Yeah, people were commenting about her
Yes.
outfit at the inauguration.
Yes.
But yeah,
Well,
so
but
she's
when you be looking over at a naked woman,
well, they're wearing actually all matching cool blue
Yeah, they
blue
are.
space suits, and people
Yeah.
are commenting about
This
that.
is 11th human flight, and it's called the New Shepard program. It's scheduled for 9:30 our time to launch. And she superstar pop singer Katy Perry, journalist and philanthropist Lauren Sanchez, film producer Carrie Ann Flynn, former NASA rocket scientist Aisha Bowie, and civil rights activist Amanda Wynn. It's an all-female crew.
But Jeff Bezos, he owns this rocket
Yeah,
thing.
this
That's
is-
why his
this
girlfriend
is
gets a
his
pass.
company.
Yeah, she
I
got
know.
it for free. I'm assuming
I
the rest had to
watched,
pay.
well, maybe
I
he's
watched-
got a big insurance policy on her. You better
I
watch
watched
out.
Elon shoot off another one of his last night. It's like every day they're sending
My
satellites
grandson
up
is
there.
obsessed with
Yeah.
those. Yeah.
Drew, how do you do?
Not bad. The doctor's name was Mudd,
That's it.
Mudd.
Roger Mudd is the
Mudd.
reporter's name.
and he was taken to Fort Jefferson.
I lost it.
And Fort Jefferson is still
There it
there.
is.
You can take a boat trip from Key West and go out. It's a national park now.
Huh. Never even heard of it.
You haven't?
No.
It's fairly. It's. I've been out there. It's a fairly extensive fort. It's a rock fort. I have no idea how they got at that time how they got those rocks out there.
No, that's pretty cool.
One at a
I
time.
gotta check it out now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like that.
But-
And that's where the
Okay, just-
saying "your name is Mud" came from. I think. I want to say I
I
read
don't
that
know.
somewhere.
I have no idea.
I did hear that somewhere.
I've
Now you
heard
got.
that one before.
I have, and I can't remember. It was a question on a something when I was in high school. Yeah.
Former a police officer that I
Yeah.
worked with down at Curie Beach, and then he went on up to Carolina Beach. I think he
Mhm.
ended up being the chief there or assistant chief or something. But he was related to the reporter Roger Mudd. I think his wife was related to him or something. So anyway,
I'm gonna look it up.
I do.
Kelly
I
is
learned
absolutely
about that.
right.
Yeah, because I got it wrong on the test in high
Right.
school. That's why I remember it
She's
vividly.
100%.
You shouldn't have got it wrong on her
I
test.
did know it.
Said the use of mud in this sense originally referred to someone as stupid or an idiot. Despite predating Abraham Lincoln's assassination, the phrase is often said to refer to Dr. Samuel Mudd,
Yeah.
who was jailed for treating John Wilkes Booth after Booth shot Lincoln.
Oh, doggone it.
Yep.
All right. That sounds good.
I'm gonna
remember
put that
that.
on our page.
On my brain.
He's lucky he didn't get hanged because all the rest of the people got hanged, including one woman.
Uh-huh.
I did know that too. Yes, I did know that. Yeah.
All right, y'all have a nice day.
You too,
Thank
Drew.
you, Drew. You take care.
Thanks, Drew.
Bye.
Yep. So imagine what you'll remember when you miss something on a test. This is something so obscure. I remember that vividly.
I remember missing a question on a ham radio test one time. My very first one, I was like 12.
Mm-hmm.
What is the purpose of a bleeder resistor in a power supply? I will never, ever forget the answer
A
to that.
bleeder
one.
resistor, and I don't know anything about ham, but let me just come up with an answer.
It's
What is-
electronics. So
Yeah, a bleeder resistor. To keep things running.
no.
Okay, I'm just guessing. I'm thinking blood flow. I have no
Have you
idea.
ever
I'm being
Have you
metaphoric.
ever heard about people getting shocked when they used to work on TVs?
Mhm.
They have very high voltage in TVs, right?
Correct.
They put out the
Mhm.
power supply put out a lot of voltage,
Yes.
and
That's right.
even after you unplug it
Hmm.
and you touch something in there, it could shock the crap out of you. So they would reach in there. Technicians would reach in there and they would short out a capacitor, which is what was holding
So
the
it wouldn't
charge.
shock you. Yeah.
Now, in a power supply, there's something called the bleeder resistor that goes across. It's a high resistance capacitor, so it doesn't, a high resistance resistor,
Hmm.
high ohmage or resistor that goes across the capacitor. The capacitor charges up and then discharges. It's an electrolytic capacitor. It holds the charge for a while. It's the little capacitor that we used to be very mean.
So it bleeds out your charge, basically.
It will just dissipate it.
Yeah.
That capacitor doesn't hold the charge. Anyway, we would take those little wire
Mhm.
capacitor, so whatever the length was, about a half a microfarad or something like that, and then we would charge it up with a power supply. We'd put like 500 volts on it. It's a very low current.
Mhm.
But then we would fold the leads back over, two wires back over, and one on one side, one on the other. Then we would take it, hey, catch. And when you reach there and grab it, you discharge all that 500 volts through your body instantly.
Oh, heck no. Y'all are cool. That's mean, Rayford. I just want you to know that's mean.
Yeah, that's just the beginning of my experiences in
But
life.
Says a lot right there.
Says a lot. Hey, Robert, what's up?
Yeah, I just learned something. I didn't know that about mud.
Yeah.
I did not know that, so I appreciate that. That's kind of educational. But on the same thing, I just went real quick. You know where the phrase "saved by the skin of my teeth" comes from?
No.
I'm trying. I do
So
not
far,
think I've ever heard of it.
That's
you know, when
right.
you say, "Man, I just barely made it by the skin of my teeth."
I've heard that a lot. Yeah,
I've
I've even
heard it, but
said
I
it,
don't
but I
know
don't know why.
Well, it's actually the phrase is biblical. In the book of Job, in the Old Testament, Satan attacked God's prophet Job, and God allowed him to do whatever he could to put like diseases, boils, sores on him, and everything like that, and to see to test the man's faith. And God told the devil in the book of Job that you can touch him, you can touch anything on his body, you can't kill him, and the other thing is you can't touch the skin of his teeth, which are his gums.
Oh,
And
That's
so
Job
that phrase-
19:20.
that phrase has been used now. It's biblical that when you say, "Man, I was saved by the skin of my teeth," or "I barely made it by the skin of my teeth,"
Yeah.
that's a biblical term.
okay.
So just wanted to share that with you guys. I thought it was pretty cool.
There are lots of sayings out there. We probably, if we could probably
Oh, I've
spend
got
a
a
day on
few.
some of them, right?
Yeah,
I've got a
like
few.
the rule of, the rule of thumb and
Uh-huh.
all that stuff. That's proven in history. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and I appreciate the education because I did not know that about Roger Mudd.
I feel
remember
I
watching
got
that.
it wrong in high school on the test.
Yeah, I remember watching Roger Mudd as a kid on TV, and I did like him and his shows. But I
Robin-
did not know
Roger-
that great thing.
Never mind.
What's that?
We're talking about the guy that treated Lincoln who wouldn't have had TV because there was none.
Yeah,
He's talking about Roger Mudd.
Oh, the
Great,
descendant
great,
got
great,
it.
whatever,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I'm tracking
Yeah,
now.
Roger Mudd is a descendant of him, and I
He
never knew
is.
that. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
All right, now let's see. We got you and the chairman and of the commissioners in here this week.
Sometime, yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll get up with Tim to pin down an exact time, and we'll be in there for a long overdue commissioner's corner.
You got it.
All
We're gonna
right.
we're gonna make you stand in the
Let
corner
me
when you get
know.
here. We got a chalk mark up there. You put your nose in.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, my chalk mark will be pretty low compared to Tim. So yeah.
I wasn't going
Oh,
to say that. I left it up to you.
Yeah, when I hear chalk mark, I think about the growth charts, and I think my mom only had to make 2 or 3, so that was okay.
Hey, what he said though, the very
Get
last of the meeting Monday, what was it that he said when he was doing his remarks? He got you on something. It was really funny at the time.
Who?
Tim.
Something to do with my height.
Yeah, it was. And he made some, but I was like, poor Robin. Everybody's always picking on him about his height, but Tim came out with something that was extraordinarily funny.
Well,
I
at your
can't
first
remember.
at your first county commission meeting, Robin, did you have a booster seat put in your chair? As I understand.
No, it was
Dee Dee
Okay,
gave
now
him
that's-
one.
now here we go. Now, what they did was
Excuse me.
the chairman at the time was Jack Bright.
Uh-huh.
They were teasing me when I first got elected that my feet wouldn't touch the ground if I sat in those chairs because they sat so high.
Uh-huh.
And they had set the height to the highest setting so that I could see over the TV screen. But unbeknownst to me, they had rigged it so when I sat down, all my body weight got on that chair. It just dropped all the way down. So my feet could definitely touch the ground at that particular point, but I could not see because the screen was like right in front of me. So everybody got a good laugh, and I thought it was pretty fun.
Robin, that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about the booster seat that Dee Dee got you.
Somebody put a booster seat.
It was
back there.
Dee Dee.
Yeah,
Oh,
Dee Dee
yeah,
got
I
you
forgot
one.
about that.
She
Yeah,
bought him a booster seat.
Aw.
Well,
Yeah.
it wasn't a booster stand, and instead it was one of those step stools, those plastic step stools. And
That's
what it was,
congratulations
yeah.
to me. Congratulations, Robin Knapp, and she told me to use that when I got on the dais so I could stand up and talk so people could see me. And
Gotcha.
suffice it to say, that booster seat has long gone, and
It's in the garage. It's in the garage.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Why did you keep it?
Because she could.
God. Why not?
Don't ask a woman why anything, Robin. You should know better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna get off this phone before my wife starts giving away all my secrets and
Okay.
starts chastising me. So you guys have a good one.
Bye, Robin.
You too.
Oh, what time is it? It's time to do a little bit of weather as soon as I can
Weather
find it
time
again.
again.
We got some weather. It was a nice looking weekend when it finally came to an end. It was ugly on Saturday and Sunday. I mean, Friday and Saturday. We had some thunder, lightning. Was
We
it
did.
Friday night?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Friday night.
Yeah, there was a lot of rumbling and lots of flashing going on. And I was looking at the radar, and we didn't get nothing here.
Mm-hmm.
Sneeds Ferry area, it was rocking down there.
Yeah, some heavy hail.
That's what I heard. Who was it? Melissa?
Yeah, Melissa Oakley had posted some video
Yeah.
of her backyard. It was a lot of hail.
Marine forecast, though, for this week, the first part of it, calling for some sloppy seas. Small craft advisory is in effect beginning this afternoon. It will be, and it will last through Wednesday morning. Today, offshore, southwesterly winds 15 to 20, increasing to 20 to 25 this afternoon. 20 to 25 knot winds in the ocean with gusts to 30. It's not pretty. Seas, they're saying 2 to 4. They're going to get bigger. 4 to 6 in the afternoon, they're going to be 4 seconds apart. You might think this morning you can get out there. It's not too bad looking. Don't. The sea is 2 to 4. But when you get out there, if you can get out there with a small boat through the inlet, you're going to really not like yourself in the afternoon. Sounds and rivers choppy. They're going to get rough in the afternoon. Tomorrow, southwesterly winds 20 to 25, gusts to 30, seas even bigger. Don't even think about it. 5 to 7, sounds and rivers. Guess what? Rough. Wednesday, northwesterly winds 15 to 20, gusts to 25, diminishing to 10 to 15 in the afternoon. 3 to 5 footers, 2 to 3 near shore. Wednesday afternoon, you might give some consideration to doing it. We'll talk about Thursday. Tomorrow, Sounds and Rivers choppy on a Wednesday. They'll start to come down in the afternoon, moderate chop.
Today, sunny, high of 84 with 10 to 15 mile an hour winds and 25 mile an hour gusts. Tonight, clear, low of 64. We're still keeping those gusts. Tomorrow, increasing clouds, a high of 81 with 25 mile an hour gusts. Tomorrow night will start off cloudy, but it will clear off with a low of 47, and we still have the gusts. And then on Wednesday, sunny, high of 69, which is our chilliest day of the week, with 17 mile an hour gusts. And Wednesday night is going to be 39, actually.
Oh, my.
So you got
I
to,
can't let my
turn your air on, turn your heat on. Turn
Okay, now
your
what is
off.
the situation with taxes? Tomorrow is the traditional tax day.
Yes.
Yes,
But
it is.
is there some kind of an extension that's been done? I don't understand.
Let me look. North Carolina, I heard that North Carolina was extending, but I don't know if that was for people in a certain area. North Carolina residents given an extension until May 1st.
All of us.
So let me look and see.
Is that right? All of us, right? Everybody?
I'm looking to see. Of
Hurry
course,
up.
it would be a
I wanna
video instead of an.
Because I got to
It's
know.
got to come up. It's got to come up.
Oh, jeez. You should have had it ready for me. You should have anticipated my question. Why
Why
weren't you thinking about what I was going to ask you, being that tomorrow's the 15th?
Well, you know, I'm not doing well at all with any dates today. So, let's try it again. I need something that's not a video. All right. All North Carolina. Okay, news, get an extended deadline to file and pay taxes.
Everybody?
This year, I'm bringing it up now, News and Observer, and it says taxpayers in North Carolina are automatically eligible to file and pay their taxes later this year. The new deadline is May 1st to file both federal and state taxes. Oh, this was a combination of federal disaster relief for both Hurricane Helene and Tropical Storm Debbie. And so
Do you have to live in that area, or is it everybody?
taxpayers in all 100 North
Okay,
Carolina
that takes care of that.
counties
Good.
automatically qualify
Then,
for the May 1st
then I
deadline
don't have the money I got to pay them. I can leave it in the bank for a
for
little while,
filing
right?
Same. I was
state
just thinking that.
and federal
I don't-
Federal's already done.
taxes.
I owe federal, but not state.
I owe state.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I'm getting
So
sent back.
I'm going to
I figure out
post that
why.
in our comments section. And anyone that's feeling the heat, the pressure, you've got till May 1st. now.
Yeah, y'all can chill. Okay.
You could chill.
House Speaker Mike Johnson, he's a Republican down in Louisiana
like
way. He's no big fan of hiking the tax rate for America's wealthiest to 40%. An idea, apparently some Republicans are saying, let's do that to offset some cost of their in-progress tax package. I don't get this. Johnson said, we're the Republican Party and we're for tax reduction for everyone. And that's a general principle that we always try to abide by. He was on Fox News yesterday. Though there are many discussions, thoughts, and theories on how to get all the Republicans' goals accomplished, Johnson said he would not put any money on any of those ideas as yet. Ain't got it. The horse is still in the barn. According to Bloomberg, the 39 to 40% tax rate would affect those earning $1 million or more annually. Doggone, they're going to get me again.
Okay.
A 2 to 3 percentage increase from the current 37% rate. It's currently 37%. It's not for the rest of us. It's lower. So the top earners in this country, the people who automatically pay the most tax anyway,
Mm-hmm.
would you rather have 25% of what, if let's just say if the rate was 25%, would you rather have 25% of whatever every American making $1 million is going to pay, or 10% or 20% or 40% of what the rest of us are going to be making? The people who make the most money pay the most taxes. Why penalize them for making more money? There's no incentive for them to make more money if you're going to penalize them because you're going to make their tax rate higher. You've already heard this thing, oh, you put me into a higher tax bracket, I can't afford that raise. That has happened, folks.
Yes, it has. Working all
But
that.
why do you
overtime.
want to punish those people for making more money? The more money they make, the more taxes they're already going to make.
Very true.
These are the people who are funding this country, the people who make the most money. Right?
Yes.
Now, don't get on the phone and scream and holler about, well, what about Walmart and everything? Well, Walmart, they make a lot of money. They pay taxes on a lot of money. Do they pay as much taxes as we do? Probably a lot more than we do. But either way, Walmart, let's just say, look at the number of people that Walmart employs. If you raise their taxes to a certain point and they're not making any more money, here's what's going to occur. They're going to have to raise their prices. If they're not going to sell any more stuff, then they're going to have to raise their prices to pay for the extra taxes that they're going to have to pay, or they're going to have to cut employment, or they're going to have to keep people at a lower wage, right?
Right.
That's the only way they can make money. They're going to make money for their investors. It's a given. That's the way it is, or the people won't be investing in Walmart or in any big corporation, for instance. If you raise the taxes to a certain point and they're not bringing in any more money without raising their prices, then you're hurting yourselves, because they're going to raise the prices, or they're going to reduce employment, or going to lower the wages for those who are employed, because they're going to make the same profit.
Yeah.
Anything that happens, they're going to make the same amount of money. Does anybody not understand basic math? Apparently.
Wow.
Apparently. They don't understand the really basics of math. I'm just like beside myself.
I agree with you 100%. Don't even get me started. I used to get back a healthy refund every year. And then a couple of years ago, for the first time in my life ever, and my income had not changed since 2013. I had to pay $100, and I'm like, why? But now I'm back to getting it back again. So would you please explain all that to me?
Well, there was a tax change.
When Biden was in? Yes.
No, before that, there was an increase when Biden.
Well, I know for the first time I had to pay, but I've not had to pay since then.
Yeah.
And where I used to do the loan form all the
you might
time.
have getting better crook for your advisor, for your tax man. Or is that you? Do you do your own?
I do my own.
Oh, okay.
I've always done my own.
Well,
I do the loan form. It's very easy. But with you, you've got,
Oh yeah, there's too much here to
now
deal with.
I used to do a lot when we had our businesses. We had 1, 2, like 3, 4 businesses at one
that's a
time.
pain.
And we had rental properties, and that was a lot to keep up with doing those taxes.
It's not so much right now for me here, because we don't have a whole lot of money coming in for the business. We got none.
Right.
We got to
Pretty-
change that.
Hint. Something I wanted to bring up that really irks my soul, and I want to ask you a question about it.
It's just one thing.
The new FEMA head is denying North Carolina governor's request to extend 100% reimbursement for Helene damage. And
I don't know what that means.
well, it means that it's where FEMA matched the money that we needed to help the people in North Carolina. But the governor's saying the need in Western North Carolina remains immense. People need debris removed, homes rebuilt, roads restored. Governor Josh Stein said in a news release, "I'm extremely disappointed and urged the president to reconsider FEMA's bad decision, even for 90 days. 6 months later, the people of Western North Carolina are working hard to get back on their feet, and they need FEMA to help them." Now, this is something that has been bothering me for quite a while. Do you remember when the last visit Trump made to Western North Carolina, and he
Before
was
the
there?
election, yes.
No, this is after he became president.
Okay.
And he was there. He was on the ground at a site, and there were some families there that lost their homes. And he was there with the governor and some other people. And that's when he announced that he was putting Michael Whatley, our former North Carolina
Yeah.
GOP chairman, and he was now the big RNC chairman. He was putting him in charge of being the liaison between the governor's office in North Carolina and FEMA. Have you heard anything since then?
Nope.
Have you heard a word?
We might want to call Tom Tillis up and ask him since he speaks for the state, what the deal is with that. Because
But
I think
it's
that's
just
crap.
like you're not hearing anything coming out of the governor from the government. I'm talking the U.S. government. You've not heard much of anything coming out about what's going on in the western part of North Carolina.
And it's still a mess.
And now FEMA wants to pull out. You know, it's been 6 months. You know,
Well,
so-
FEMA hadn't done anything anyway, but I hear you.
yes.
Um,
I mean, that storm caused more than $60 billion
Well, we had a lot of
in damage.
And after that, with FEMA and everybody else in the very beginning, remember we had a whole lot of
Mhm.
issues there involved, including, well, of course, that occurred during an election time. And if you had a Trump sign at your door or on your property, you did not get visited by FEMA. Remember all of
That
that?
was in
Sam?
Florida, and that was a couple
That
homes.
was in
yeah,
that was in North Carolina.
but there was in Florida also.
That was all over the place.
Hmm
That they went right on by them. So FEMA is has been wrought.
I
with,
think
I knew one of those inspectors. He was hired. He was on a payroll year round.
right.
Okay, but he worked a full-time job, and anytime there was an issue, they would call him up, and he had to go to this place or that place. I
I think the whole agency needs to be torn down to the
I agree
basics.
with that.
And
it needs to put somebody in there who is I don't know. I bet you could put a bunch of people in Western North Carolina in there and get something done.
Well,
Yeah.
I know they've done a lot. They've got some roads open back up that they've had to rebuild.
Who
But there's
did?
a lot of people,
Who did?
the people themselves.
The people
You know,
themselves
and
and
of
the
course
state
the
of North
state- the
Carolina
state of
DOT
North
did
Carolina,
it, not
that's
the
right.
federal government that I
No,
know
I
of.
never said the federal government did
so-
that. I'm just saying that people still need debris removed, homes rebuilt, roads restored, and FEMA's walking away now.
All right.
Don't get me started.
I could.
I have to go to the doctor.
My
You gotta go to
thoughts
the
on
doctor. You here
FEMA.
all day tomorrow?
Yes.
Good, because I won't be.
Okay. Yes.
I'll be here early in the morning, but then I got to leave.
Yes.
And I'll confirm that. I have to have another test run, but yes. I'll get up with you.
Yeah.
Eat your key lime pie later and your
Oh, I'm
shrimp and
going to
grits.
all of
So
it
I'll
in just a few minutes.
probably have one of our usuals come in and hang with us tomorrow.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
No usual.
usual one of our extra co-hosts. So.
I think we just ought to walk out on. Does anybody want to volunteer to come in here to be a co-host one day, just for giggles?
We keep telling them, come on, we'll let them say what they
come
want to
on
say.
in. If there's some things you would like to say, and some things maybe you could answer some questions from
Right.
callers, and maybe you just answer our question. Maybe you've got questions for us. Maybe you just like to see how this whole operation works.
Maybe we should get Steve or Theo to come in here for a whole morning.
Steve
We've
came
had-
in before with me.
We've had
Steve came
here.
in and
We've had
co-hosted
Theo in
with
here
me.
too.
Well, I'll be gone next week on my trip.
You can't go next week.
I fly out Sunday. Let's not talk about the word fly. I know.
Let me.
I'm gonna send her
I
every
give you some
article I
advice?
can find.
Take some
I
stuff
won't do
on the
that.
plane with you in case you can't get off the plane and you got to spend 8 hours on that plane at a Montgomery, Alabama airport.
Well, this way I'm going. It's supposed to be a
She's only
direct
going
flight
to
Raleigh
Nashville.
to
Why don't you
Nashville.
Well,
just
that other one
drive?
from Mexico City was supposed to be a direct flight from Mexico City, and another one from Cabo San
It's
Lucas
true, yeah.
to Atlanta. Guess where they ended up?
I will end up in El
Montgomery.
Salvador prison somewhere.
Montgomery.
Yeah. So
Oh, they would turn you loose in a prison.
do what?
They would cut you loose. They would give you.
They would. They'd be like,
they
get
don't-
her out
no,
of here.
no, I'll
We
pay-
hate her.
She's under bail. Oh,
Yeah.
I'll pay it. We'll
Yeah.
negate it.
She's got to go.
Yeah. I want my
I
one
just-
phone call, and I know what you're going to do.
Mhm.
You'll be calling here
Hmm.
for 2
Reporting.
hours.
Let me tell you
Y'all
what's going
ain't gonna
on.
believe this.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure
Let me
she'll
tell
be
you what
calling
I've
about
learned.
something because
Yeah.
every time she goes anywhere, we get ding, 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 ding,
You won't
ding,
get
ding.
it. Yeah.
Flight delayed, flight delayed.
It's supposed to be a direct flight. It's the only reason why I'm flying out of Raleigh because it was a direct flight.
You got to drive to Raleigh, though.
I know, but I'm going up the night before.
Maybe.
So staying at a hotel for.
Oh,
I leave early in the
I
morning.
hope they wake you up.
Oh, they will.
Oh.
Robin's going with me.
Oh.
Mhm.
Very nice.
I made him take off work and go with me.
Oh.
Very
Mhm.
nice.
Oh.
Hmm.
Okay.
I'm surprised he's taken off from work.
Well, he,
Oh.
like I said,
Crack that.
Kelly made him take off work and go with her.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't going by myself. I just don't even. This is a conference I don't even really care about going to. But
Get
Don't
your
go.
I have
cowgirl
to.
outfit while
it's a
you're
work
there.
thing. I
Go
will
to
not
Blake's
wear
Bar.
a cowgirl out. No.
Where are you going?
Go to Blake's Bar.
Blake's Bar. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a bar there.
Yeah, he's got one right there in Nashville.
Where are you going?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, that's not far.
No. It's
I
too
thought you
far
were
to
going way
drive.
out west or something.
No, I'm just going to Nashville. And I
You
go back
can-
again in July.
You might run into him. You might run into some celebrities while you're there.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, Blake Shelton's got a bar right
I did not know
downtown
that.
Nashville.
Okay, then I will definitely do that because I like Blake Shelton. And I don't even like country music, and I like Blake Shelton.
Oh, I love country
Oh,
music.
God.
From The Voice when he was a judge.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
he's just
Yeah.
hysterical.
My dad was a country music guy. He liked
Yeah,
Blake
I've
Shelton.
always loved country music. It's my second favorite.
I don't like it at all, but I'll listen to it if I have to. Just try not to. So, all right, Rafer, you enjoy the rest of your birth anniversary.
Birth anniversary.
Your birth anniversary. Yeah. Have a great day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Are you all right?
Yeah.
You're reading something. You okay?
No, I'm just thinking. I got to do the cooking tonight
Why are you cooking on your birthday? That should not be allowed.
because I got one of them big old grill things that Robbie bought me.
Did you get a black
Did you get a
star?
black stone?
Dude.
Oh my Lord!
We
Lee,
put it
let's
together
plot
yesterday.
to-
Oh,
Put it together
man.
yesterday.
That thing disappears out of his backyard. Looks
Kelly,
good.
I got to pick
It's not
up.
in the backyard. It's in the garage. And
Kelly, I have the code to the
the
garage.
two of you together can't lift it.
We're
Let's
here
put it that
tomorrow
way.
by ourselves.
Oh,
Don't put it past what a woman can
Now-
do when she
yeah,
wants something.
exactly.
I got 2 lobster tails in the freezer in there waiting for tonight. I don't know what else I'm going to cook
man.
with them,
The
but I'm
black
going to be cooking
stone.
lobster.
I want
Well,
black
on the
stone.
grill.
Well, send us a picture. See what it
Robbie
looks like.
always looks out for you so
She
well.
I know
does.
she
Takes
does.
very good
So
care of
well.
you. Yeah.
She gets coops.
She is just something else.
I
Yeah, we went to my favorites. One of my favorite Swantsboro restaurants yesterday.
I know. Heard that. Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Uh-huh.
Where you hear from?
Don't worry about it.
Oh,
I heard
Motor
about
Mouth.
Oh.
I just knew you
Motor-
were there. I'm
motor-
glad you
motor-
had a good time. What'd you
motor-
eat?
I had shrimp scampi.
Okay.
I like shrimp scampi.
I do too. Theirs is really good.
Very good.
I'm
That's
surprised you
very
didn't get a
good.
steak.
No, not for lunch. Not for lunch. But
Not for lunch.
besides, I got this big old
Excuse me.
thing out there. Why do they call it a Blackstone when it's actually brown? The whole thing is brown.
I company name, I guess. I don't
Oh, I
know.
guess-
I
I
have
guess that
no
could be.
clue, but
Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I went ahead and put some of that grease and stuff on it yesterday.
oh yes.
I used 10WD-40.
No, you did not.
My son-in-law said you shouldn't do that.
No, you
Well,
do.
I figured I'm gonna take it up to.
No, you were talking about flammable floors earlier
I'm
this
gonna
morning.
take. I'm gonna take it up to Black's Tire Service and let Robbie up there. Robbie and Sonny, they're gonna put me some fittings in there. You know, like the tire fittings like the grease fittings that you get.
Okay, Ray.
You've seen grease fittings, right? Well, I can just grease it myself.
Do you ever invite us for dinner and you're cooking on the Blackstone? I'm going to have another appointment that night.
It'll be
T-minus 53 minutes until Katy Perry is shot into space.
okay.
That's crazy. Would you do that?
What?
Would you go on one of those space flights?
You know me, right? Do you think that I'm armed enough to keep everybody from trying to put me onto one of those things? Can you imagine the gunfire that would erupt? So there's somebody wanting to kidnap me and try to put me on one of those rockets.
Well, look, this
I
weekend.
probably could expend, I'm thinking, as long as the barrels didn't wear out, probably 15, 20,000 rounds before I ran out.
Well, I will tell you that I'm trying to
It would
bring up
not
the
be
launch
pretty.
pad. A good source to watch all this is the launch pad on YouTube. Midnight last night, I watched another SpaceX takeoff with
Uh-huh.
more satellites going up into the orbit, into the space. But I just, this weekend was kind of a boring weekend on TV until yesterday afternoon when NASCAR came on.
No.
But stop, just because I like it.
round and round and round.
It's not all about going round and
You
round.
wait for the
Rayford.
crash, right?
There's a whole bunch of tracks that make left turns, right turns, deep dives,
Or are
everything.
they still going round and round?
Some of the tracks are
Oh.
oval shaped. I mean, that's the history of NASCAR.
Mhm.
That's what it's all about. But there's races like in Chicago where they go downtown Chicago and race on the streets there.
Yeah, they used to do that here in Jacksonville, but we
I'm not even gonna
used to give
talk
them
to you about
tickets, so whatever.
Anyway, so I started, I tell you, I spent a lot of time on YouTube watching documentaries and stuff like that. And I started watching documentaries on the Challenger when it blew up. And I tell you what, space travel's come so far since then,
Mhm.
but still, I'm not getting on one going anywhere.
Not me.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Do you?
You know, I don't even like to fly.
Yeah.
Only flew because I had to go see my child. Other than that, no.
Drive.
Well, Texas is a long drive.
That's a day and a half.
Texas is a long
Yeah, a
drive.
day and a half.
And you've got to drive over all those bridges in Louisiana, which I do not like. Do not like driving over
Just
bridges.
go north of Louisiana. You'll be all right.
Yeah, you could, but then you're going to add on another couple hours.
Nah,
It's a 19-hour drive to where they lived.
oh, I'd do that one day then.
Wow. You and
Yesterday
Kelly,
at the borough in Swansboro, had 7 of us there. Of course, my child, her husband, and her daughter, my grandbaby.
very nice.
She's not my grandbaby anymore.
She's still
my
always been your
granddaughter, right?
grandbaby.
And then my sister and brother-in-law went. They treated us all to dinner, to lunch yesterday at the borough, and one of my favorite places in the world to eat. So it was good, and they had a cake. Not the borough. My sister brings in a cake.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, a big old banana cake. You know what? It's not a banana bread thing. It's not a banana cake like you think. It's a cake with bananas cut up all over it. I should have gotten a picture, shouldn't I?
Mhm.
But anyway, she does that. It's lots of whipped cream involved. Oh, it is so good. When you
wow.
let that thing set up for a few hours before you eat it, which she did, and then cut into it. And she was very generous, and she gave some to our wait staff and the folks back there. They were happy.
Very nice. Very nice.
That's nice to keep your wait staff happy.
Yeah, I can't remember last time I had a birthday cake. But my sister and I, when she was living with me, when she first moved down here, we used to go on race day, was our day to eat whatever we wanted to.
Oh, okay.
So we would make junk food, so to say. We'd even go out and buy a small birthday cake with buttercream frosting, because
Mhm.
that's the only kind of birthday cake you should have, in my opinion, my preference. And we would buy a half gallon of ice cream, and that was our dessert. We'd eat that whole cake and most of the ice cream.
Mm.
And just that day. But that was our fun day. But birthday cake, I prefer the buttercream. I like the buttercream. Is it good? I can smell it. It's wonderful.
I couldn't
I'm going to
stand
give
it.
this bowl to Robbie.
I took you take it.
No, she needs to share in
We can
this.
share this. Anyway, we had. I just had to take a bite of the shrimp and grits. It's cold, but it's good.
It smells
The grits are
wonderful.
flavored.
And I would say, just looking at it, it's a beautiful job.
I have
Such
tried
talent.
my best to duplicate what Candy does. So one of the reasons I want to analyze this. I'm going to take it apart. I'm going to do a postmortem on it and find out what's in it and exactly how it's done. It's either that or I'll just call her every time I want shrimp and grits. About
It's
3 times a week.
It's
would
a
be good.
beautiful presentation. I will say that. Absolutely stunning. It looks, smells wonderful.
It's got the
too.
grits down below.
Yes, and
And
then
it's-
it's got the shrimp on top, and
and
it's
it's got
got
some-
scallions and tomatoes
And some tomatoes.
sliced finely on the top with your seasoning. So,
And the grits are not leftover white grits. They've got butter in them.
no, those look like yellow grits.
They got butter in them.
They look exceptional.
Mm.
I think she did a wonderful job.
Yep.
Kudos
Those
to
little
Candy.
green onion
Yes.
stuff on top of. Oh, me and onions are it.
I love onions. Do you like onions?
If they're cooked,
Oh.
I don't do raw onions on hot dogs or hamburgers. I just
Oh,
don't
I
like
do.
that.
I do.
I like grilled onions on a hamburger. Oh,
Mhm. I do that sometimes too.
Grill-
Depends on whether I feel
I
like.
tell you what, a hot dog. There's a sauce that comes out of New York. They call it New York red sauce or something.
Yes.
And it's got onions in it and stuff like that and whatever else they've got in it. Put that on a hot dog. Oh, a chili first and that on the top of it. And then don't wear a shirt that you're going to wear for the rest of the day because stuff's going to drip out.
Oh yeah, well
That's-
that's what makes it good.
It's a good hot dog.
A hot dog's not good unless you're wearing it.
One of those beef hot dogs that the guy
Yes.
that used to have one of the stands around town.
Oh, the one in front of Lowe's.
That's the one.
Oh,
I could go over there and I'd eat one, get one and eat it before I got in. Then I'd go in and shop. That's the reason that I used to, and most people I think had to make 3 trips to Lowe's to get anything. It's because we always wanted to go get a hot dog.
And do you know you can actually smell the hot dog
Mm.
cart as you're driving into the parking lot? And then they set it right by the exit doors. So when you leave Lowe's, you had to walk by the hot dog
Did you
truck.
ever buy a jar of the onion sauce? Because they had it for sale.
No, I didn't know that. I would buy the hot dogs.
I asked.
And I'm shameful
But-
to say I'd buy
but
at least 2.
Their hot dogs are not like big old pink hot dogs you get in the grocery store that you don't know what they. These are the big beef. What do they call them? Sabret?
Yes, Sabaret.
Sabat,
Something like that,
Whatever.
yes.
It's a French thing.
Right.
But anyway, it's big and it's beefy and it's good. God, I'm hungry already.
I know it. Now I want a hot dog.
I'm going to eat all day long today. What time is it? Oh,
I think I have a few left in the refrigerator. It's 8:45.
It's not time.
It's not time yet.
All right, we better check, see what's going on here.
Let's see if we've got you know that you were talking about the hit and run in Carteret County. They had one in Pamlico County also.
How did they?
A man that was killed in a hit and
Mm.
run, and they're still looking for the driver there. I haven't seen my little fellow on Country Club Road in the last week or so, so
Oh, hope
hope he's
still around.
doing okay.
My goodness, they did a lot of damage up here at the mansion. Oh
Yes.
God, a beautiful piano in one of the rooms here.
Oh,
There's
no.
fire.
I saw some of the china on one of the tables in there. That was
the guy
charred.
who's accused of setting that fire in the Pennsylvania mansion, the governor's mansion, and his family turned him in. He turned himself in.
Wow.
38-year-old Cody Balmer of Harrisburg, first ID'd by police by an ex-lover after he confessed to her. And his words, wanted her to call police to turn me in.
Evidently a scorned
Oh,
ex-lover.
yeah. Why would you go and fess up to her?
Maybe he just wanted notoriety.
Maybe that's the reason he said fire. Maybe it had nothing to do with politics or hate crimes or anything else. He admitted to harboring hatred towards Governor Shapiro. This, according to the warrant, removed gasoline from a lawnmower and poured it into, oh God, this is special, Heineken beer bottles he found at his residence. Said he
Special
walked
cocktail.
an hour to the governor's mansion with the intention of throwing
Oh,
his
really?
homemade Molotov cocktails, I don't know how many, into the residence. Troopers say Balmer admitted to scaling a perimeter fence, breaking 2 windows with a hammer, and throwing Molotov cocktails inside.
Mm.
The dude admitted he was aware it was a possibility that Shapiro and others were home at the time, and it was a possibility that people could be injured by his actions. That's what he told the state troopers.
Wow.
Dude, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. He's going to go.
Well, I know-
First of all, he's going to the nut house.
At
You
the
know that,
news
right?
conference yesterday, the actual colonel for the State Highway Patrol said that this guy had actually made entry into the house.
He
So,
said that if he had bumped into Shapiro unintentionally, he would have beaten him with his hammer.
why did he? Still, we don't know why.
He's nuts. He was caught on
Yes.
security cameras, both in and outside the mansion. So, yes, he was inside wearing a black snap-on jacket. And that's a tool.
Right.
Black boots and carrying a bag. They found the jacket and bag and a small sledgehammer at his home.
So he actually made it all the way home.
Yeah. He walked there. He walked home.
Wow. At first news report said that they got him on the road. Well, I imagine a lot of things that once they get into it, and delve into it.
I agree with the governor. Shapiro said this is becoming way too commonplace.
I agree.
Seeking out political leaders, whether it's the president, a Republican, or whether it's the governor, a Democrat. It doesn't matter, I don't think, to some of these people. They'll use any excuse Oh my Lord.
I agree. I mean, it was just.
and they will do things for notoriety, for the cause, whatever the cause is. This cause you're stupid for one thing. It's the stupid cause. Oh, for heaven's sakes.
A lot of things just, there's no excuse anymore. We've got to just somehow put a stop to it. And law
Yeah.
enforcement officers with the Greenville Police Department Saturday morning responded to shots fired on the outside of an apartment complex. Unfortunately, 2 of the bullets that were shot entered into an apartment complex.
Gang related?
And it did not say, but it struck 2 children.
Oh,
One was a
Lord have
12-year-old
mercy.
and a 7-year-old, both non-threatening. The
Thank God.
7-year-old had a wound in their ankle, and the 12-year-old had a graze wound. But when you can't be safe in your own place, in your own house, in your own apartment,
It's
the children were asleep when the bullets came
it's
in.
ridiculous, just totally ridiculous.
Well, see, that's why I'm all for Second Amendment, 100%. But I just have a problem with dropping any requirements to conceal carry. Like, all right, everybody can conceal carry. You don't need a permit. My problem is the people that don't know anything about a weapon that think it's cool to strap it on and walk around with it.
No, and more no. Folks, you ain't out there to enforce the law. Your gun
That's
is
right.
there for self-protection.
Exactly.
If somebody's coming at you or threatening you and your family, you have the right, if you are capable of doing it, to defend yourself.
Right.
Hopefully, if you've decided to buy a gun and stick it on you, whether it's open carry or concealed carry, I'm sure there are a bunch of you folks out there who went and got your concealed carry permit maybe as early as the 1990s, late 1990s, when they first had it available here in North Carolina. Before that, you couldn't carry one concealed unless you were a cop for the most part. But if you did it then and you went and you fired that 30 bullets into a target and you managed to hit the broadside of the barn a few times,
I was first to shoot. Let me go first so I can leave before these other people do.
And then you go shoot and you do that. You take the class. It's a day-long class, it seems like.
Right.
You take a day-long 8-hour class or whatever to learn the rules. That's the easy part. Shooting at that target is the easy part. Shooting at a target that might be threatening you is a different story. It ain't the bullets that hit it that count. It's all of those bullets that miss it. Is what you have to be concerned about. That's what the cops train for. And you think they're just going to go once every 20 years to train? No, they have to qualify every year.
When you took
minimum.
When you took that long class, as you say, did the instructor not spend some time on the safety aspect of the weapon?
Well, that's part of it. Yes,
that's right. So at least that's something.
That's something. But if you do not practice this, if you took that class and you haven't fired that gun and you got the same green bullets that were in it that became green over the 25 years when you got your ticket, you got your license, you need to go practice.
Yes, you do.
First of all, the bullets that you carry in your gun, you should shoot those every year.
Yes.
Empty those bullets, fire them through your gun.
Some fresh ones.
Several things and makes your gun, your gun's working. You get rid of the older bullets and you clean your gun really good,
Yes.
make sure it's still functioning. And if you have any misfires with that gun when you start shooting, well, guess what? When you need it most, you might be dead.
Well, you know what I've noticed
He
on
died with his
misfires?
gun in his hand because it wouldn't go off.
The only misfires I see or hear about are those ones that are in court going through trial, that their weapon accidentally misfired and killed somebody. That's the only ones I ever see.
But if you go to the range, there are plenty of them out here. Don't go into your backyard unless you got something.
Yeah,
you live in a county and you're 500 feet from another house.
That's correct.
And then make sure of your backdrop, because those bullets, by the way, go more than 500 feet. Even
Yes.
22 caliber bullets go more than 500
Yes,
feet.
they do.
So, and don't shoot up in the air. You people who shoot up in the air,
It's going to come back down.
those
What goes
bullets
up-
come back down, and they
That's
come
coming down.
down at a fast enough speed that if it hits somebody in the top of the head, it can kill them. Okay.
Yes. You're
Remember,
absolutely right.
remember the first Gulf War when those idiots out there were shooting at our planes up in the air with their AK-47s
Oh yes.
all over Kuwait? They
I
were
remember the
over
story.
wherever it
on
was. They
that.
were
God,
everybody
that's going
shooting
way
fully
back.
automatic weapons. No. People got hit when those bullets came down. Jeez, y'all are dumb.
Dumb. Dumb's not the word for it.
But
What was that we said earlier? No, that was your name is Mud. Okay.
you do need to practice with your gun. For efficiency is one thing, but to make sure your gun's working and that you know what it feels like. You may never have felt that recoil, even if it's a 9mm 20 years ago or 5 years ago. And as you got older and you got the little pains in your arms and your hands and stuff like that called arthritis, you might not have the same functionality as you had then. Reloading. I've a second magazine to always carry, right?
Right.
But shoot, empty that magazine at the range, reload on the fly, and see how fast you could put that spare magazine or another magazine in your weapon and make that weapon ready to shoot. I don't know how many bullets your gun holds. The one that I carried, it holds 10-round magazine. It's got
Mine's
one
a
in the
10.
chamber. So I get to fire
Right.
11 times first.
Mm-hmm.
Then I can put another 10 rounds in within a couple of seconds, in fact. But y'all need to practice that kind of stuff. Not that you'll ever have to do it, but you may miss the first 10 times or 5 times if you've got a 5-round magazine.
If you're a serious, avid supporter of carrying a weapon and you carry one often,
Be responsible.
be responsible. I think that's very important to be responsible when it comes to dealing with weapons.
Yep.
If you've got children or young people at your home, make sure you keep them locked up. I always keep even though I don't have to worry about that, a lot of my stuff separate. If I have family coming over that has children, then I will put it in a special hiding place, but I still put the locks on it anyway, on the weapon itself to keep it from
Yep.
being able to be fired.
And the best
So,
safety that you've got is the one that's right between your ears, okay? That is your safety.
yeah.
That is the best safety. That's the ultimate final safety. Without it, I don't care how many locks you've got. I don't care what you do. And I don't carry a lock on my gun in my holster. That is where my brain comes into play.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
They've released the identities of the 6 people who died in that New York plane crash Saturday.
Yeah. Sad.
One of them was a highly acclaimed former student athlete. The 6 victims,
Mm-hmm.
most of them were related, died about 12:15 p.m. Saturday. According to the FAA, the aircraft was a Mitsubishi MU-2B en route to Columbia County Airport in Hudson, New York, when it crashed into an open, muddy field about 10 miles south of the airport. Karina Groff, a former Massachusetts Institute of Technology soccer player who was named the NCAA Woman of the Year in 2022, was one of those killed, as well as both of her parents, Dr. Michael Groff and Dr. Joy Siney. Groff had been studying medicine at New York University at the time. Her brother, Jared Groff, and his partner, Alexia Duarte, were also killed in the flight. Karina Groff's boyfriend, James Santoro, was aboard the flight and died as well. Lord of mercy. There's snow on the ground up there.
She was a soccer player. And she was named the NCAA Person of the Year, I think it was.
The NCAA Woman of the Year in 2022.
That was for soccer.
Yeah. Three of the people killed in the helicopter crash were kids from last Thursday. Jeez.
I know it. I know that is so sad. And the stories coming out about that family killed in a helicopter crash. And the children that were lost is just horrific. I've never had a desire to go up in any tourist helicopters or any helicopter at all.
Shortly before the crash of the fixed wing this past Saturday, the pilot had radioed air traffic control at Columbia County Airport, saying that he had missed the initial approach and requested a new approach plan. Air traffic controllers prepared new coordinates and attempted to send a low altitude alert 3 times to the pilot who did not respond. Authorities are still investigating the cause of that crash, which may take 24 months to complete. That is one of the things about a plane crash, any plane crash. It takes a year, 2 years.
Yes, I
They
followed.
put those things all back together, and they put the planes. They want to make sure it's not an equipment failure. Not putting blame anywhere, but to make sure if it's an equipment failure on this plane,
Right.
every other plane like it will be checked.
I watched the National Transportation Safety Board. They did another presser yesterday afternoon about the plane that went down in Copec,
Yeah.
New York, and it's standard for them to say it'll be a year to 2 years before we put the report out.
The investigators, the NTSB, also said that the plane had a recently upgraded cockpit with newer FAA certified technology, and that the pilot was flying under instrument flight rules, IFR, instead of visual. It's obviously the weather was not
And
pretty.
I read yesterday, Rifford, that type of plane, that Mitsubishi, whatever that model number was,
Mitsubishi, yeah.
they said that the Air Force used to use that model plane in training for a lot of their pilots.
Wow.
And I thought that was extremely interesting.
All right, tomorrow, who do you have? You got anybody coming in?
I'm not really sure yet. I have a couple people that have yet to. I have to reach back out to them today.
I'll be here first thing in the morning, but I'm
Then
going to
you're
be leaving
leaving us.
very early because I've got a long ways to go for in a bit, so I've got to get down there. It's a sudden situation. So,
Right. Well, safe travels.
and I will see all of y'all bright and early tomorrow morning.
All right.
Meanwhile,
I'll be back.
go out there, have a great rest of your day. It's looking really pretty out there for the 14th of April.
Right.
And I'm going to go eat some scrimps and grits right
There you
now.
go.
And then I'm going to eat some key lime pie. And then
And it's about 20 more minutes till Katie gets shot up into space. So if
goodbye,
anybody
Katie.
wants to watch it.
Have a good flight. Bon voyage. Remember that couple that went into space last year
in
about
space.
this time? They were there for 9 months. Mm.
Do you know that these people that go on these space flights like that, they're paying their own ticket to go, and these tickets are like millions of dollars.
Y'all got that kind of money to waste? I got a place for it. I got a really
Amen
good
to
place for it.
that. I do too.
All right, thanks for all the birthday wishes from one and all. There's no way I will ever be able to respond to all the Facebook posts. I will try, but over the next maybe 364 days, I might get through with some of them.
Yeah, then be right in time for the next one.
Yeah, I know. That's
Next
the way it goes.
anniversary.
All right, we will see you tomorrow morning bright and early. Have a great rest of your day. You're live and local where we're always awake, never woke. Have a good day. Be safe.